Hello everyone, I am Becks. I run a business called Duncan's Dog Co and also am a founder of Genera business software. And me and Ciara over here,
Hi.
who also has her own business called the Big Bowowski,
Yep.
have been having lots and lots of conversations recently about the industry and about all the things that
The fun stuff
absolutely
that comes up.
Exactly. So I thought that it would be a good, nice thing for us to just have a chat on camera, because actually a lot of the things that we talk about are things that I think a lot of other people could not learn from, but also kind of it could resonate with a lot of people out there. So yes, this is Ciara, and I wanted to introduce her so she can introduce herself and her business.
Yes. So I'm Ciara Henderson. I am the owner and founder of the Big Bowowski. We're based in Fulham, London, and have been going for nearly 10 years. So I started out as a one-man band and now have a team of 5. And we offer walks, daycare, boarding, the whole lot. So yeah, we've gone through a lot in the last 10 years. Hello, COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're an urban daycare, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. We're pretty athletic. We spend most of our time out and about. And yeah.
Yeah. I think kind of like your real point of difference is the fact that you don't use cars, do you? You kind of like walk.
Yeah, no,
all
we
of
are
the
paws to the floor,
Yeah.
door to door. So no vehicles. We've never used vehicles. Never needed to. We have so much green space where we are in Fulham anyway, and we have access to the river, Putney, Barnes. For me, it just doesn't make sense for urban dogs to not be exercised where they live, because they need to be able to navigate the environment that they live in. So like,
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people have really big feelings about lead walking on pavements, but I think it's really necessary that dogs know how to lead walk in a pack as well as, you know, one-to-one, so that they can be safe where they live.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of their repertoire. Daycare and walking is fun, and it's meant to be fun, and we're meant to stimulate them, but we're also meant to have a basic level of obedience and manners, so that the dog can survive and thrive where they live.
Yeah, totally. I think kind of it's interesting because for us here at Duncan's Dog Co, we are obviously in a rural setting and we bring dogs out of London to the woodland in Surrey, and it's been really interesting some of the conversations that we've had about the differences between rural and urban daycares, and the things that you guys find that we just don't have to navigate and deal with. And I think that especially in terms of licensing and all of the things that you come across in terms of kind of like things that you're expected, the expectations from the councils and things like that, that we just don't have to navigate. And especially coming from a place with like Genera and the software and building kind of connections with businesses, it's really interesting to get your view on urban pet industry.
Yeah, because it's interesting. I mean, coming here, this is what, my third visit, and we've got a dog, Aria, today, who 0 recall. She's a rescue, and it's really difficult to work with a dog who, you know, is a potential flight risk in London. So coming here is so nice. It's so refreshing for us to be able to do that recall work in an enclosed space that we know is secure. So we're taking that level of stress out of the situation, not worrying about other dogs incoming from, you know, different places. We know that you've got an idea of what your dogs, we know our dogs. So there's a level of control that is just, as a handler, means that we can relax and just zero in on that dog. Because the biggest challenge you have in London is not your own dogs. We vet our dogs, you know, we make sure that our dogs all have really good chemistry and they're copacetic. Your biggest challenge is when you go into a park is other people who don't necessarily have the same standards that you have when it comes to recall, when it comes to training, when it comes to basic obedience, who are going to let their dogs peg it over to you.
Or other dog walkers
Exactly.
who don't take things as seriously, or they're working on a different kind of like playing field to kind of what you.
And we're more vulnerable because when you've got 4 dogs versus a person with 1 dog, and you're trying to maintain every dog's needs, you know, you don't take out a pack of dogs who are all bouncy for obvious reasons. You want to make sure that you've got different levels in that pack so that they feed into each other, that they're learning from each other, that they are able to play as well as give each other space.
Yeah.
So you don't take like 4 bouncy puppies in a park, right? Because it's just chaos.
Yeah.
You want an older dog, so you've done all of this really careful planning, this really careful like chemistry matching.
Yeah.
And then somebody who doesn't have any recall, who's got an adolescent dog who, you know.
My dog's really friendly.
Yeah.
And they just want to play with your dog.
They're friendly.
Friendly dog. Yes. Oh, gosh.
And you have to have the skill set to not only navigate that, but stay calm in that, advocate for all of your dogs, keep all of your dogs safe, and ensure that the other dog is safe as well.
Yeah.
Because it's
and
not
the human
their fault.
element of being able to have that conversation with someone who clearly doesn't have an understanding of their own dog and what they're capable of.
And reminding them that you're in a professional setting.
Yeah.
This for you is work.
Yeah.
You are responsible for people's family members.
Yeah.
Whereas they're responsible for their 1 dog, and they just don't. A lot of the time we're really lucky where we are that people take it seriously and that we're well known enough that people respect what we do. But you will always have people who are just kind of like, it's a dog, let them sort it out. And I'm like, that's fine if it's your dog versus somebody else with their dog.
Yeah.
But me, I'm not going to let them sort it out or scrap it out. You know, that's not our form and our function.
No.
We are here to protect these dogs. Their safety is our primary concern. Fun comes second, safety comes first.
It has to, right?
Exactly.
Especially in this industry now where there is, and I think more than ever, the door has been opened, and so it should be essentially. Like there should be more transparency in what we do.
Yeah.
And this industry has been a closed door industry for as long as I've ever known it. And people kind of are like, you know, what are they doing over there? Oh, okay, that looks quite good. Or maybe I can do that.
Yeah.
But like, instead of us working together as a unit, and like we are today, you coming and kind of using the facilities and us kind of like coming together to make something work for you and for us, people kind of want to kind of like put everybody kind of like against each other and this competitiveness. There's 13 million dogs in this country.
We can't walk or look after all of them by ourselves.
Absolutely not. Nor would you want to.
No, exactly. But we all have different styles. I mean, that's the whole point, right? It's like, I'm urban, you're more like kind of rural. We all have different styles, and no one style of daycare is right for every single dog.
Absolutely.
So every dog has its own individual set of needs that need to be tailored. Like their circumstances need to be tailored. So, you know, for what works for my dogs might not work for yours, and vice versa. That's why we need to have both in the industry, and that's why we need to have the same relationship, because I don't care about making the most money. I care about making the most out of the experience for the dogs. My motto has always been, my team hate this because I say it to them all day long, is that the dogs have to thrive, not survive. If you've got a dog who is hiding in the corner, who doesn't want to come out, who is scared because, you know, there's too many dogs around or you can't give them, then don't take it for daycare.
Yeah.
Offer it a solo walk, offer it an enrichment session, spend the time getting to know that dog. And if that's not within your capabilities as a daycare, if you don't have the resources to do it, then tell the person that you can't do it and recommend them. This is why we need a network of people, so that we know what's out there, so that if we can't provide a service to a dog, that we can then recommend somebody else that we know and trust.
Absolutely.
And that's the big thing about community, is it has to come, the dogs have to come first. Your profit margins, obviously we all need to survive and, you know, maintain our businesses, because otherwise we're not charities, we can't do this for free. But we have to be able to put the dogs first, and having a community where we have like-minded individuals who will help each other do that. Like, being able to offer this to my dogs is amazing.
Oh, I'm going to jump in there at some point.
Me too. You know, I was walking along the Thames this morning, and listen, I love where we are. I love the Thames, it's gorgeous, but I was looking at it and we just had a high tide. We had rowers out on the river. And I was like, I can't let my dogs in here. I can't do it safely.
Yeah.
And with, you know, a clear conscience, tell my owners that, you know, they had this great experience that wasn't...
We've got a puppy on the loose.
We've got a friend.
We've got a puppy on the loose. Kiki!
Hello, baby. Hi. How are we doing? Oh, we got a soggy puppy. Oh, you're nice and cool.
Come on, darling.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Right. Oh, darling. Right. Here we go.
Oh, he's so sweet.
I should double check that this has actually been...
I was going to say, otherwise I've just waffled for...
No, I think we're good. Where were we?
Yeah, I was just saying about swimming in the Thames. You know, it wasn't safe. It wasn't a safe option.
No.
I had like Aria's got really good like strong prey drive. We've had seals in the Thames, like all sorts of reasons, legal, safety. I've seen people do it, and I'm sure the dogs have an amazing time. I've done it in the past. Like I've let the dogs in the Thames in the past, but I just can't now. You know, with the riptides, with everything. So I still want my dogs to have that experience to swim. And having this relationship with you guys, we can do that in an amazing setting that's safe, that's clean, that's secure, that we can quality control, that we're all first aid trained.
Exactly, yes. And I think that's one thing that we kind of like when we first started doing Splash, which is a new initiative for us.
And it's amazing. We are big fans.
But when we first started doing it, we were like, if we're going to do this, then we're going to do it properly, and we're going to do it as safe a way. So we have partnered in some ways with Friars Rehabilitation, and they're up in Guildford. So they essentially put a bespoke course for us that one of our team has been on. So she learned all of the kind of basics of how you get dogs in and out of water safely, management, and the kind of basic of how their anatomy works and what we're actually trying to achieve in the water, because actually you're really trying to get those back legs going as well, and a lot of dogs will like pull them up like
Duke last week. You're just like, no, thank you.
Exactly. So actually, it's really actually inspiring, kind of like to see the dogs in this, because some of the dogs that we've had go in there and in daycare, like they enjoy daycare and they run around, but maybe they're kind of on the quieter side. They're not kind of like that. But you get them in there, and they're literally like, this is the best time of my life. And for the owners to see that as well, and to see this other aspect of their dog.
Well, like Maya, the Shiba, was going, you're never going to get a Shiba in the water.
No.
And not only did she swim, she did amazingly. And for her mum to be able to see that, you know, she gave us amazing feedback, by the way, Elaine, we love you. It made a difference to her life. I mean, I know, you know, the dogs are our foremost kind of concern, but like the owners and the relationships that we get to have with the owners is pretty incredible. And just being able to see her reaction to watching her dog have that new experience,
it's lovely,
was special.
And I think kind of we can say kind of in terms of running businesses, this industry and this business, it is not for the weak. It is not for the weak. And anybody who works in this industry and has been here for a long time will have seen just the most dramatic changes happen in this industry, from the rise of kind of, I mean, when we first started, there weren't any daycares. There was one very well-known, very established daycare that is still kind of around. And then there was kind of us and a couple of others, and we all kind of started at the same time.
Because there's nothing like that in London.
No.
There still isn't that many in London, as in commercial kind of setups.
No.
You still get a lot of one-man band. That's always been the primary thing where I am, is a lot of one-man bands.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which works.
I think kind of that you see all these changes in the industry, and I, for one, really, really believe that the changes that have happened, and I think that the licensing and all of that, whilst it was like, what at the beginning, what is all of this, because none of it really made sense right at the start, but as time has gone on, things have got better, and they've kind of adjusted it to make and they've listened a bit more, not just to one particular business, but they've listened to more of the businesses that are in the industry. One thing I don't think that has been listened to enough is urban daycares.
Yeah, because we're completely different setups.
Absolutely.
And have so many different needs. Which is something that we're navigating at the moment.
You don't have the space.
No.
To give like this kind of every
square
single dog
footage,
needs
every
this
dog.
amount of square footage. We all know in this industry that most of your dogs, if you're sat on a sofa, you've probably got 4 of them sat next to you, and they're all on top of each other.
The amount of dog beds that I have in my house that don't get used because all of the dogs are sat on me.
Don't want that one.
I don't want that one.
Don't want that one.
I want you. I want your lap.
I just want to sit on you.
Yeah, I want to sit on your head.
But that's it, isn't it? And I think that it's not fit for it. The licensing isn't, and the way that it is done isn't necessarily fit for purpose.
There needs to be an adaptation because a lot of this comes down from DEFRA, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking in terms of like agricultural animals, which is very different to domestic.
Well, and farming, and a lot of it was borrowed from nursery school set up, and like the ratio system is from nursery schools, and it doesn't make sense because, you know, obviously you're not going to have, you know, 4 Dobermans, but, you know, you could easily manage kind of maybe, well, actually, I don't know, like dachshunds. I'm not sure you could manage 4 dachshunds. But,
I mean, you know. Oh my God, Datsies. We love Datsies.
We love them.
They are gorgeous.
Everybody loves a sausage.
Yeah, sausages. Mini or regular. We'll take any
size. We'll take them all.
Yeah. But they are interesting.
Yeah, quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but,
I mean, anything that's been bred to go down a hole and fight something, you have to be,
right.
you have to be
actually,
aware of it.
About what these dogs have been bred for, you know, and especially kind of your terriers, all of them are going to have this incredible hunting.
Yeah, and that's why I always say
to
people ask me all the time, like, what do you think's a good London dog, right? And I'm like, Labradors. And they're like, really? Really, Labs? And I'm like, super social.
Absolutely.
They love their sofa time. They're good with exercise. They're so biddable. They're so trainable that you can, as long as you don't overdo the ball, you can keep them for really long periods of time in really great health.
Yeah.
They're fairly, I love to say this, but they are fairly straightforward dogs, right?
Yeah, they're hard. It's hard to get it wrong.
Exactly.
Anyone can get it wrong.
Anyone can get it wrong, yeah.
But it would be difficult to get it right, especially if you get them from the right breeder. Yeah. You do the work, you really look into what it is, because that's another part of this industry that is absolutely mad, is the fact is all this unregulated breeding and the advice given here, there and everywhere from multiple random sources.
Well, the problem is anybody can get onto an Instagram or a Facebook account and start giving out advice like they know things. And that's the problem with the industry itself, right? It's not even these people. It's the fact that our regulation, we are so wildly under-regulated on all fronts. We're not just talking daycares, we're talking breeders, we're talking trainers, we're talking groomers. You know, the only facet of our industry that is properly managed is veterinary care, right? And they come under fire a lot. And in all fairness, vets, they do an amazing job. So, you know, power to the vet people. Absolutely, because they do a really hard thing. Yeah. But we need to have an alignment across the board, because by the time a dog gets to us, that's already been bred, that's already been potentially groomed by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, so they've traumatized them, has been sent to a training camp or done a residential or done puppy classes or something. We've already got this dog, because I don't take puppies unvaccinated under age of 6 months.
Okay.
Because we just don't have the infrastructure to be able to.
Whereas we do, because obviously we have a whole puppy aspect of the business and a manager that deals with all of those puppies, and we do training on site.
So we're already at a deficit, because those formative months are so important.
Yes.
You know, and we're trying to socialize a dog. And I mean, my owners, again, they always get sick of me saying this, but like, for me, socialization is actually more about teaching a dog how to be calm and ignore other dogs in their company than how to play. Playing comes naturally. Dogs know how to play. They don't need any help in that respect. What they do need help in is learning how to rest, how to respect each other's spaces, how to be able to regulate exactly, and read the room to keep themselves safe. So by that point, I'm already working against whatever's happened in those early months. And then if I take that dog out into public and something happens, I'm the one who wears the blame, not the trainer who didn't train correctly, not the breeder who's sold this dog at 8 weeks rather than 12. and we're at the forefront of it, whereas we're actually doing a lot of cleanup for previous things, whilst also trying to help owners who don't know any better, because they expect the regulations there. They think people buy a dog thinking that everything has been vetted, that it should be fine.
And the first person when you buy a dog that you trust is the breeder.
Yeah.
And we know firsthand that the breeding industry and everything that comes around it, there are some we have wonderful, amazing dogs that have come from beautiful breeding backgrounds and like heritage and stuff like that, and some people that breed in a kind of like home sense as well, and they do it properly and they are
do it
licensed.
well,
but not in the kind of their all this backyard breeding really does need to kind of like be, because there are too many dogs. There's too many. The rescue centres are overflowing, and there are far too many dogs being euthanized because they can't rehome them. And it's a really sad part of this whole industry.
We're rearing animals to die.
Yeah, absolutely, right.
And it's through our own greed.
Yeah, and kind of part of that was kind of in the rise of the mixed breed, right? The rise of the puggle or the all the doodles of every doodle.
Don't talk about my doodles.
Oh, we love
my
doodles. We love a doodle.
Yeah.
But like it has kind of like, we have like some lovely doodles, and but they are prone to anxiety. And
especially doodles reared during COVID.
Yes, exactly. And finally, we're kind of like getting over the puppy COVID stage. They're all growing up and they're all a bit more balanced, but it's taken some time.
It's been difficult.
Yeah.
Especially because it's probably the same for you guys. There are a lot of similarities that we have, whether we're urban or country, in the fact that like COVID has changed the industry massively, and has changed people's working habits. So we've gone from having, dogs 5 days a week because people were in the office 5 days a week or traveling consistently for work, to having this kind of mismatch of, certain days, and then people having flexible days. And we get it. And we're always going to be here to accommodate what our owners need. But there is a certain difficulty for us then to provide a stable structure for those animals, because dogs thrive with structure and having kind of expectations, right? And then if you go from having them 5 days a week to 2 days a week, and you don't know if
changes their whole routine and everything, and then all of a sudden you have a dog that was an incredibly well balanced dog in your environment, actually you start seeing behaviors that you're like, okay, so what's happening on the other 3 days that the dog isn't with you? And then you start kind of seeing things in a dog that you absolutely love and adore, that actually sometimes can end up with it can get to a point where that dog isn't necessarily going to work in the environment anymore, and that's really sad for everyone, I think.
It's heartbreaking, because you know that you could get that dog to a certain point, but circumstances are what they are,
Yeah, well, I guess kind of, we've probably waffled on for quite some time.
So we're talking about the unregulated and then didn't regulate ourselves.
Exactly. But I think kind of also part of obviously what we're doing with Genera, and Ceara is a Genera client, which is wonderful, and it's lovely to be able to work with people across the industry and understand what all of the different issues that people are having, because actually we have such similarities. And I think coming together as part of a community and building kind of like a software that represents the industry now, and it represents the industry how we work on a day-to-day, that isn't built by kind of like tech brains in some kind of like Sin City somewhere, but built by the people that are actually on the ground and doing it.
But you also have, we've loved our experience with Genera so far, and I can see that you have the ability to adapt to change if it comes in the industry, and rapidly. Because I think that's all of our hopes, is that there is going to be more regulation, that there is going to be more of a compliance element, and that whether or not you're a big daycare or a small setup like me, that a platform like Genera levels the playing field.
Absolutely.
So instead of spending I really struggle with compliance, not enacting it, but reading the actual kind of the legal parameters, right, and understanding that and digesting it, and then getting the paperwork to support it, right? And if you're only one person, that's even more impossible, because how are you meant to walk your dogs, clean your dogs, do all of the cleaning to keep them safe, write your cleaning log, write your invoices, do all of these different components and still have a life and your sanity at the end of it, let alone apply.
We're all bonkers.
Exactly. We are all batty at this point. But Genera, genuinely for me, has made such a huge difference, knowing that I can consolidate all of that, and instead of having like 50 billion different spreadsheets that I'm trying to explain to my managers as we grow, that we're consolidated in one system where they can update things, that they can add information, that we are, you know, building a solid database that when it comes to it, we can show a third party our compliance, our health and safety logs, our first aid, all of those things in one unified setting.
And that essentially is the dream, really, is that we have a place where you can't not raise standards, because if this is the standard that is set, because you're ticking all these boxes, because like Genera becomes kind of a standard in terms of kind of what it's worn, then I mean we could not have built this business that we have over the last 15 years without having that software. It's happened through kind of, you know, loads of different kind of, you know, different things that have happened over the industry, and it's been built in that way to kind of like, you know, be a representation of what the industry is. And we're still building it as well. You've asked for, there's been so many things, like Ciara has been like, can I have this? Can I have that?
Becks of the team really love
We're like, okay, we'll do that.
I don't think, like, so when I came to you, the business hadn't stagnated, but we were in this really slow growth period and it was painful, and we have been trying to climb out of this hole for years, right? And I don't think it's a coincidence that in the 3-4 months since we've hooked up, that my growth has gone like this. You know, I mean, we've also had a lot of staff turnover and then had the right people come in. That's another conversation for another time.
That's for another day.
But I don't think it's a coincidence, you know, that I've got my wonderful manager, Eleanor, who in the last 2 months, you know, has taken on Genera, and me and her are able to coordinate things to such a high level that we then can bring in somebody else as our development manager, who is then going out and making new business, as well as, you know, shoring up the pre-existing business and giving all of our clients this amazing experience. Because that's the whole point, is that this is stopping us sitting, tearing our hair out for hours on end. I mean, I know you've probably been there too at 3 in the morning doing invoices, because there's no time to do invoices in the morning because you've got to do it.
We've all seen the black shutter come down and gone, do you know what? I can't do it. Can't do it anymore. This is too much. It's too much. You've had this happen with a dog. You've had that owner complain about this. You've had that thing because a light wasn't put on, or because something happened where they didn't get, like, a dog didn't get fed because
you knew it in the back of your mind, but you forgot to tell that person.
Tell them, and actually you're like, oh my God, it is actually my fault. But you can't remember all these tiny bits of information and then pass them on to to somebody else, and then and ultimately our clients want, they're paying a decent whack for what it is that we do, so we want them to get a top level service.
I love clients who have got a high expectation, because we want to meet you there and exceed it.
Absolutely.
And I think the less time that I spend crying behind my laptop and the more time I spend in the field, because this is the worst part about running a daycare, is that you miss out a lot on the fun bit of running around with the puppies.
And you're the golden egg, because it's the golden egg. Maybe
I mean, I'll go with it.
Heat, we're all going to be
I was going to say, I think I'm more like the fried egg.
But
I mean, how red am I at this point?
But you're the part of it that actually is missing in the business when you are overloaded with admin.
Because you know everything, but you can't be there. I mean, it's like trying to train new staff members. You're too busy trying to set up their setup paperwork to actually be out there training them.
To make sure they have a contract on their first day, because, oh my God forbid they don't have a contract on their first day. Yes, exactly. And I think that it is just, it's wild, isn't it? We could be here all day.
But we didn't get into this to be behind a desk.
No.
That was the whole reason. I mean, we all come to this industry for different reasons and we stay for different reasons,
Yes.
but we didn't come to this to be paper pushers.
No. We came for the dogs.
Yeah.
And we're here
and we
for
love
the dogs,
the dogs.
and we will stay for the dogs.
And the dogs are what make, I mean, I can't speak for you, but the dogs are what, they saved me.
Of course, yeah.
You know, where I
every
was 10 years
time.
ago versus this.
Yeah.
You know, the dogs are the reason why I have a home. I have a loving wife. You know, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't be the person I am to
Yeah.
then have met my wife.
Yeah.
So the dogs have changed my life.
Yeah.
The dogs have saved me. And that's all I want, is to be with them and to be able to engineer a team of people who get to have that same experience, who love what they do,
Yeah.
because we've set them up to thrive.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah. Like, and more of that, right? More and more people kind of pulling people into this industry that might not have thought about working in this industry before, because maybe they didn't think that it was something that they could do.
Yeah.
I think there's this whole aspect as well of people thinking that what we do is easy.
You must love your job in summer.
Isn't it a great job? Oh,
Yeah.
you've got the best job ever. You know, and all of us that work in this industry know that it's not as simple as that
Yeah.
by any stretch of the imagination. And I think there's also this aspect of seeing a lot of stuff on social media that glorifies this kind of whole, oh, look how many walks I've done, and look how much money I've made today. Oh, you
Yeah.
could do this too. Let me show you how. Okay.
I think that's why there's so much crash and burn though.
Yeah.
Like you see it a lot, especially like with one-man bands where people set up, like during COVID, that was amazing at one point where all of the bans had been lifted and everybody, you go on next door and everybody and their mum is a dog walker,
Yeah.
right? And they're
Yeah.
offering services for like 10 quid.
I know.
And you're like, okay, great. So you're not only, I'm assuming maybe you're insured, maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to be.
Yeah, you
But
should be.
are you?
Are you first aid trained?
No.
You know,
had
are you
someone
paying?
in our neighbourhood group where I live put on the oh, my 11-year-old is looking
Oh,
to make some
no.
extra pocket
No,
money and would like to
please.
walk some dogs. And I literally was like, honestly, I feel like going to your house and having a really strong word, because that is not how
No,
this
it's-
industry, and that is the problem in itself, that you think, because okay, yeah, here I have my lovely German Shepherd, or
Yeah.
my Pointer, or my Vizsla, or my Vime, or like whatever I have. Yeah, you go and go onto the common
Yeah.
where all the deers are with my Vizsla and see what happens.
Even with a golden retriever.
Even a golden retriever. Do you know what I mean? It's bonkers that we still think in this industry that anyone can look after a dog. Oh, it's
Well, that's the thing as well. It's like you get these dogs and owners think, well, my dog's never done that with me before, and it's like, okay,
oh, that.
so you've already got to counter that. Yeah. They're like, he's got perfect recall. And I'm like, I know, because you shelter him, you feed him, you offer him love, you offer him comfort.
You've not
He
let him off
trusts
lead.
you. He's got,
Never let him off lead, love.
he's got every reason to like be like that with you, but they don't know us.
No,
So there's so
exactly.
much planning that goes
It's
into
a different
just that
environment.
interaction.
I always kind of say to people that daycare, it's not, you can't compare it in the same way. What you could say is that kind of it, like, your child isn't going to act the same at school in an environment with their teacher and their TAs and all of that they are at home, and some of the things that they may do are going to be different in that setting than at home. So it just doesn't kind of, and the thing is that dogs can't come home and tell you, can they?
9 times out of 10 a dog can't advocate for itself. I mean, there are sometimes really clear examples, like you go to pick up a dog and it hides. I mean, that dog is screaming what's going on.
This isn't working for me. Yeah.
And that's not necessarily your fault, and it's not the dog's fault, but it's just
And it's not always
chemistry,
that it
compatibility.
might just not be the right fit for that dog, and that dog, there might be all sorts of traumas that dog has endured in various different
But
situations.
dogs are amazingly resilient creatures, and unfortunately, there are certain breeds like Staffies who will just go back for more punishment because they are so intelligent and they're so loving, and all they want to do is please you, and they will withstand so much
and
just
very,
to get
like,
that.
such a high pain tolerance as well.
And you'll never know. You'd never know what happened behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And that's a really sad thing. That's why we all have to hold ourselves to a higher standard to stop people out there in the industry who are doing horrible, because there are people that are doing some really horrible things with animals,
absolutely.
who have no interest in their welfare, who have no interest in furthering the industry, and who are just profiteering and making the most out of the lack of transparency and insight. And that's what we're combating as well, is that by being open and honest and transparent, we are indirectly shedding a bit more light on them and hopefully making them more accountable.
Agreed.
Just putting our hands up, because I've got nothing to hide.
No, come.
So I've got no issues. Come check me out. We're good.
We're here. Like, and I think that's it, isn't it? That's the next part of it all, is just opening it all up and making everyone, you know, go, you know what, like this industry is great, and it is, and it's wonderful. And in what I've been doing with Genera, it's just been so lovely to meet so many different
because you've been
owners.
Lady of the town, haven't you? How many businesses have you got?
So we're still within the kind of like founding 100, but it's kind of we're reaching the limit, guys. So if you want to get in there for founding 100, then please do. And we're about to kind of launch things in other parts of Europe and
amazing
and things like that. So we really will kind of like end up. Well, the idea is to be kind of like the standard of kind of, you know, a badge of honor in terms of kind of like the industry and the pet industry and how things work, and you can wear Genera with pride as a business. Thank you, Ceara, for coming and having a chat, and maybe we'll do this again sometime, and we'll delve more into some of the things
have another waffle
that we didn't talk about. But yeah, and if you guys have got anything that you would like us to talk about, please comment on this video, and
because we can talk.
We can talk. We would absolutely love to like talk about all things the pet industry, raise standards across.
If you're a business owner, and if you're a small business owner like me, and you think Genera is only for a big daycare or anything like that, please check it out, because it's not just for big daycares, medium, it's literally for everybody, and it really will help you level up your business in a means that you can then go about and do the business rather than working on the business in abstract.
Spend time with the dogs.
Just ask, have a go at it, because it really, I've been looking for something like this for years, and I just messaged you on like a complete whim, and it's changed the whole trajectory of my business, and now I'm here sitting by a pool about to take my dogs for a swim.
In the blazing heat. Scrambled eggs.
We're going to go meet them in the air conditioning.
Absolutely. The dogs are fine.
Yeah, the dogs are fine. We've lost our minds.
I know. We're bonkers. Yes. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
thank you, Becks.
See you next time.
Bye.